Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you a new series. Part 1 of What If Naruto was trained by all of the greats at a young age. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform if you enjoy guys. And you can also go ahead and check out Lord of the Land of Fire. I'll be leaving the link down in the description. And stay in tune because I'm going to be posting What If Naruto is given a second chance on this channel. And also over in Anime King 2, I'm going to be giving a new episode of What If Naruto was taken and fused with Zetsu. So stay tuned for that and I do hope that you guys enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be planning talking about all of you. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. Crying. That was what she heard, a baby crying. As Kushina, Uzumaki slowly opened her eyes. "Give him to me," she said weakly. "Kushina, you lost a lot of blood," the person said beside her. "You need immediate surgery or you're going to die." The sight of all that blood bothered her, but she couldn't let herself freeze up when her friend's life was at stake. "Tsunade, give me my son," said Kushina. A frowning Tsunade nevertheless put a wrapped bundle into Kushina's arms. "Alright, but only for a moment. Then, we have to begin the surgery." She carefully took her son and smiled on at him. He had his father's eyes. He was crying. "Shh. Hush now, little one," she said. "Hush, my little Naruto," she said. "Your mother is here and everything will be alright." And as she held him close, he quieted down. "Everything is alright, my little one," she said. As she loved him so much. "Kushina, I have to take him." The man she loved, her husband, the father of her child, spoke. She looked up in his face and saw his tears. "No," she begged. "I take it back. You can't use him for this. Please, Minato, I beg of you. Not for this. Isn't it enough that you're going to die? Must you do this to your own son?" she said, her voice breaking as she looked at her baby boy. "Whose child shall I choose?" asked Minato sadly. "How can I ask some other parent to make a sacrifice that I'm not willing to make?" "I don't care," she said. "It's too much. It's not fair." "Kushina, it's not. But it must be done," he said. "I am sorry, Kushina, but you need surgery right now," said Tsunade, as she injected a needle in Kushina's arm. No, Kushina said. As Kushina slowly went unconscious as Minato took Naruto, as tears were pouring from his eyes. "Forgive me, my darling wife. Forgive me, my beloved son, for what I'm about to do now." He looked at Tsunade. "Will she be alright?" "I hope so, but I can't guarantee," said Tsunade. He nodded as he prayed the both of them would be alright, but whatever happened, he will not be there to see. "Please, tell her I love her. I'm truly sorry. But this is the only way." "I will," said Tsunade. And with that he vanished. As Tsunade stood there. "I am never going to see him again," she said. She couldn't even spend any more time regretting Minato's fate. As she began the emergency surgery to try and save Kushina's life. "I shouldn't even be here. I should be in a casino, hundreds of miles away. But when your friend called you and asked you to deliver her baby, you can't say no," she thought to herself. But when this was all over, she can't stay here anymore. Time skip. Kushina slowly opened her eyes as she was lying down in the bed. "Good, you're awake," said a voice beside her. "Tsunade," she said, hearing the voice. Tsunade smiled and nodded as she got up from the chair that she was in, as she stretched. "It was close, but you're okay now. How do you feel?" "Tired. I've never felt so tired before." "I can believe that. You still need to recover." She shot right up as she felt the pain in her stomach as she did. "Minato," she said. Easy, said Tsunade. "No sudden movements. You need to take it easy." As she looked at her friend. "Tsunade, is Minato?" "I'm very sorry, Kushina, but he's gone." But his death wasn't in vain though. He stopped the Kyuubi and saved the entire village. "Minato," she said, tears leaking from the corner of her eyes. As it then dawned on her, "Naruto. Where's Naruto?" she said. "Where's my son?" He's alive and unharmed, Kushina. But then a worried look came on Tsunade's face. Right now he's with the old man. There's emergency meeting of the council. They are deciding his fate. Kushina, I snap hearing that. What do you mean deciding his fate? Bring me my son now, she said. Kushina, I can't bring him to you, I'm sorry. Kushina started to get up. Stop, said Tsunade. Kushina, you can't push yourself. You'll reopen your wounds and maybe die. Alright then, take me to him, now, she said. Tsunade sighed, there was no defining Kushina on this. Shizune, bring me a wheelchair. Meanwhile, the demon must be killed now, said Fukaku Uchiha. We cannot afford to waste the sacrifice of the fourth Hokage. We must complete what he began. That would be quite short-sighted, said Danzo. This child can become Konoha, perfect weapon. Alone he can guarantee that Konoha will always stand on top of everything. And I said, letting it live a moment longer is too dangerous, said Fukaku. There is no it, said Sarutobi. There is him. He pointed to the crib beside his seat. Amazingly, Naruto was sleeping through all of this. Do you understand what you are suggesting, Fukaku? You wish not to only murder a helpless infant, but the fourth Hokage's only son. I am truly sorry that it is necessary to sacrifice the fourth Hokage's only son to guarantee the survival of this village. But how many innocents have died already, said Fukaku? I say, the demon must be killed. Touch him, and I swear I will kill you, said a voice. As everyone turned to see, Tsunade pushing Kushina in a wheelchair right at the door. Sarutobi, give me my son. I'm taking him home right now, said Kushina. How dare you interrupt us, said Fukaku. This is a meeting of the council, you have no place here. I am here because my son is here. And as for a council meeting, I believe the Namikaze still hold a seat on the council. So, with my husband now gone, I am the head of the Namikaze clan. Husband, said Koharu. When were you married, said Danzo. A year and a half ago in Whirlpool Country. Minato wanted to keep it a secret to protect me. He did, however, have the marriage documents filed. Sarutobi can vouch for this as Minato had given the papers. It is true, Sarutobi said, and I can provide you all with copies of the documents. As a murmur ran through the council hearing that, everyone had known that Kushina was a woman in Minato's life. This made no difference. Whether the child is legitimate or not, he must die to preserve Konoha. Lay one finger on him, and I'll kill you, said Kushina. And if she doesn't, then I will, said Tsunade. I am Naruto's godmother, and I will slaughter anyone in here who tried to threaten my godson. At that moment, Hayashi stood up. The Hyuga clan will protect this child as well. He declared loudly, which brought all conversation to a stop. Hyugas and Namikaze have shared close ties for a generation, and the fourth was a dear friend to both me and my wife. Out of respect for his memory, we will not allow any harm to fall on his son. As Fukaku went silent, he had no stomach to openly oppose the Hokage himself, the Hyuga clan head, Kushina, and Asanin. As Kushina bowed towards Hayashi in a deep gratitude. As he nodded, Sarutobi, give me my son, she said, as he picked the baby out of his crib and handed him to Kushina. As he started to cry as he woke up. Shh, shh, I am here, no little one. No one will ever hurt you, she said. The people who were just thinking bloody murder for the boy, seeing this moment, it made them realize how far they were willing to go to do certain things. But one mind of Fukaku Uchiha did not change, as he just looked at the boy, with sure resentment on his face and anger. I am going to pass a special decree, said Sarutobi, in order to keep this child, to live some kind of normal life. No one is to speak about what happened on this night, including not telling your own children about it. The only people that shall be permitted to do so will be the sitting Hokage and Naruto himself when he gets older. Time skip. You really should be in the hospital. No, said Kushina. If the council members are that savage, I certainly don't trust the regular villagers. I can better protect Naruto here than in a hospital. All the servants has worked here for years and they love Minato. I trust none of them would ever harm his son. Tsunade sighed, as Kushina gave her a smile. So you're his godmother, huh? Funny, I don't remember me or Minato offering you the position. Well, it's called a bluff. Sometimes you can convince an opponent that you have more in your hand than you actually do. It's fine. Since you volunteered the job, it's yours. If anything happened to me, I expect you to take care of my son. As Tsunade looked panicked. Nothing better happened to you then. I'm not cut out to be a mother. As Kushina simply laughed. You better heal me well then. Look, Kushina, said Tsunade as she got serious. I will stay until you get better. But after that, I'm not coming back. So you never want to see me or your godson again? As she held up Naruto so his smiling face was looking directly at Tsunade. Naruto-kun would miss you, wouldn't you, my little Naruto-kun? Stop it, said Tsunade. You're shamelessly using your son's cuteness against me. It's working, isn't it? Alright, fine. Since I have tourists to come back to the village, I promise I'll return and stay for, well, a week or so, every once in a year. How about that? Kushina turned Naruto around. Well, what do you think, she said, as she rubbed her nose against his, making him laugh. Well, it seems me and Naruto accept this term, she said with a smile. Time skip. 5 years later, October the 9th. As Kushina was chasing down her son, she wondered, does all 5-year-old have this energy? He was always an excitable boy, and now that he was excited about his party, he was practically bouncing off the walls. Even with everything he had to endure, he was a happy and normal child. That amazed her sometimes. Naruto always seemed to be happy. She would think of the things that was missing from his life, his father, a group of friends his own age, and he didn't have the freedom to go out without being watched. She would feel guilty, thinking that he was deprived. But he would smile and laugh, and she was reminded of what he did have. He had a home where he was protected and watched over. He had one kind-hearted girl, who was his friend, and a mother who loved him with all of her heart. He had love, and he was never ever alone. That seemed to make him a very happy boy. They lived in a mansion on a vast estate, neighboring the Hyugas. They were wealthy. They had loyal servants who cared for Naruto. They were rich in wealth, power, and honor. But that did not mean that life was easy or trouble-free. Naruto was rarely ever allowed to leave the Namikaze estate. When he did, he wore custom-made body armor that fit perfectly for him. He had envoys escorting him as well, and his mother was there as well. The precautions were not excessive though. There has been 47 attempts on his life. A dozen of those were made by shinobi, with the rest being regular citizens. That broke Kushina's heart. Minato had tried to protect her from the enemies he made in foreign villages. But it was his own people who wanted to kill his son. The people who he had died to protect. To most of them, Minato was like a god. They worshipped his memory. And yet some of them saw no contradiction when they tried to kill his son. But she didn't try to argue or convince them. If they ever tried, she simply killed them. After all, she wasn't some weakling. All around the Namikaze estate was signs and letters telling them if they intrude, if anyone entered with their permission, they will die. It was a warning. As Kushina had kept her skills sharp, she was one of the most powerful Jonin in World Country before she met Minato. And her skills were still up there even though she didn't went on missions anymore. So far she had killed 14 shinobis, including 1 Chunin and 1 Jonin. And she has killed over 137 civilians. As she carried her katana, she was a blade master after all. She had no problem dealing out her wrath on anyone who dared to mess with her child. Not to mention, the seals were around the Namikaze estate. No one could enter without her knowing it. And when anyone did without her permission to try and harm her child, she wasted no time in killing them. She never asked them for a reason or offered to make them surrender, just death. Last year, some drunken man had scaled over the gates, coming over the barbed wires. They weren't a real threat, but still, they were trying to come after Naruto. But she wasted no time as she separated their heads and piled their body up so people could see it. As Sarutobi had called her and talked to her and asked her why, she could have just knocked them out. But she told him that everyone knew where the Namikaze estate was. And they all saw the warnings and yet they still tried. If they were willing to climb over the fence and go over the barbed wire to try and harm her son, she wouldn't spare a single soul if they tried anything like that. As there wasn't much that Sarutobi could do, not that he would. Seeing that the clans were given special privilege, enter their compound, they could do as they please. But since that incident, there had only been 4 attempts in the past year because people were rather scared now. She was snapped out of her thoughts. Hey mom, hey mom. Yes dear, she said. After the party, can we go train? If that is what you want to do, of course dear. Yeah, he said as he ran around her again. He was only 5 but she was giving him training. She had brought him up and telling him stories of his father. That part of his legacy he knew well, the other part would wait a few years. As Naruto was determined to be even greater, as he wanted to be Hokage and protect the village. That was her son's dream, and if she could do anything in her power to make it happen, she will. So far, she had given him taijutsu training and start on basic kunais and shurikens. He was already itching to get a katana in his hand, but he'll have to master kunai and shuriken first. and she's going to start giving ninjutsu training before he entered the academy. She already decided he would attend the academy. Time skip, Hayashi, his wife Hana, and their little daughter Hinata arrive. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming, said Kushina. Since that day, Hayashi and the Hyuga clan, they treated Naruto like a normal child. It is our pleasure, said Hayashi. Hinata has been looking forward towards this for the entire week, said Hana, with a smile. As Naruto stepped forward and offered them a proper greeting, as he then turned to Hinata, as she was his playmate, the only one of his age. As he gave her a smile, "Hey Hinata, wanna play?" he asked. She immediately blushed and pressed her fingers together. Sure, Naruto-kun, she said, as Naruto held onto her hand and ran off. Moments later, as Naruto and Hinata were playing with dogs, Kakashi was standing there with a smile on his face under his mask. He was the one that was always in charge of the Envo group, as he took upon himself to make sure that they were okay. He was like an older brother to Naruto, as he summoned his dogs for Naruto to play with, and Hinata was there as well. After a while, the door then opened up, as a smile came on Naruto's face. "Oh, pervy granddad," he said. As Jiraiya, eyebrow and twitch, "Kid, I told you not to call me that." "Naruto-kun, where did you come up with that name?" asked Kushina. As Naruto looked up at her in confusion. "Oh, well, you told me to call him that, mommy," he said. "Oh, that's right. Now I remember," she said. As Jiraiya eyebrow and twitch, "He's gonna end up with your sense of humor." "Yes, I suppose he will," said Kushina. "God, help us all," he said. A few minutes later, Godmother Naruto said as he jumped, as Tsunade caught him as she started kissing him all over his face. As Naruto turned his head looking over, "Auntie Shizune," he said as he smiled at her. "Well, Naruto, is it just my imagination, or do you just get cuter and cuter every time I see you?" "No, it's not. I'm getting cuter," he said, giving her a smile, as both of them laughed. "Well, I agree, you definitely are," said Shizune. As Kushina simply smiled, "Still don't think you're cut out for motherhood. A few days a year is my limit. More than that and I will go crazy," said Tsunade. "Oh, Tsunade, it's good to see you again." A slightly tipsy Jiraiya came out. As Tsunade looked over, "I didn't know that he was going to be here. Why didn't you tell me?" "Oh, because I wanted you to come," said Kushina. As Tsunade grabbed the steak from Jiraiya. "Give me that," she said, as she drank some of it. "Is something wrong?" Naruto asked. "No, honey. I'm just happy," she said. Jiraiya laughed. "Wait a couple hours and she will be even happier." A few minutes later, "Oh, hey old man," said Naruto. "Naruto-kun, please show the Hokage some respect and call him Naruto-sama," said Kushina. "What?" Jiraiya says he approached. "I am Jiraiya, one of the 3 legendary ninjas, and a knowing toad sage, a famous author. How come you tell him to not give me respect but to give him respect?" "Well, Sir Toby never tried to peep on me in the bathhouse," said Kushina. "Well, it was a compliment." "Oh, try to compliment me like that again, and I'll take something precious from you." As she looked down, he slowly started to back away. "I'm gonna get some more steak," he said. As Sir Toby simply chuckled. "My student," he said. Kushina was about to move when she felt something on her arm. "Damn it, why now?" she said. She excused herself as she went out in the outer hall. As she rolled up her sleeve to show her left forearm. On it was a tattoo with a tree with 132 leaves. Each leaf contained a number. The tattoo was a seal that Jiraiya had given her that connected her to all of the wards on the estate. The tree was made from black ink, and all the leaves were black as well except for one, number 77, it was red. As she quickly stepped out. "Mom!" As she turned to see Naruto, who ran up to her. He always had a sixth sense for when she was leaving. "Where are you going?" he asked, as he held on and gripped her leg. She looked at him with a smile. "Mommy, we'll be right back. I'm going to deal with something," she said. "Don't go," he said. "I want you to stay." As she looked at him, he was scared. Most of the time he acted strong and brave, but he was still a 5-year-old kid. As she smiled at him. "Naruto-kun, what does the time on that clock say?" Naruto turned his head. 7:33. She nodded. "Mommy, we'll be back in 5 minutes before it reached 7:38. "Promise?" Naruto said. "I promise," she said, as she kneeled down and gave him a kiss on the cheek. "Now go and play with Hinata. I'll be back soon, okay?" "Alright," he said as he gave her a smile. He then walked off before he ran and came back as he hugged her leg. Before he ran back inside, the only thing she could do was just watch him and smile. "Anything I can help with?" said a voice. "No, I'll deal with this myself," she said, as she looked towards Kakashi, who was standing there as well. A moment later, you're early. The single man jumped hearing that voice as he pulled out his weapon and looked up to see Kushina standing above him. Her hair was coming down as she was standing on the tree trunk upside down, as she was dressed in her black bodysuit with the dark red stripes on it. She had on the Uzo headband with a swirl on it. We're dead, the man said. She smiled. Yes, I suppose that is what you idiot call me, she said. But it's fine, since that is exactly what I am to anyone who threatened my son. As she looked at her watch, I have to be back in 3.5 minutes. That's how long you have left to live. You know, I decided to celebrate his birthday earlier today to make sure none of this happens. But still, you tried to do something like this, she said. Why, the man said. Why? What are you talking about, she asked. Why do you protect that monster? The moment he said that, it was a blur. The next thing he knew, kunais were jetting out of his body as he was crying in pain and agony on the ground. You are not very bright, are you? To call someone's child a monster right in front of them. Here's another tip: if you're just a villager with a rusty sword, don't take on a ninja. Especially if she was an Anbu captain in her homeland. And just one more tip: when you see big red signs posted everywhere, you should, well, read them more carefully. As she looked back at her watch, 2 more minutes. Despite his pain and being at her mercy, he looked up at her in pure hate. He killed my father. He crushed him. Who did, she said. You know who did, the man shouted. If you mean my son, I couldn't see how he did because he's not that heavy. You mock me, the man said. No, I would have to like you at least a little bit to mock you. I find you and your kind utterly despicable. I am sorry to the loss of your father, to the Kyuubi. I doubt that you will believe me, but I'll hate the Kyuubi as much as anyone in this village. I lost my husband to that beast, and I love my husband. But hating the prisoner doesn't mean hurting the jailer, she said. As the man looked up at her, he has to die to protect this village. No, that's where you're wrong, she says. He unsheathed her blade. He has to live to protect this village. He's my husband, legacy. When I look closely at him, I can see the greatest of the future Hokage. He will protect this village someday as his father did. And now, she says, she lifted her katana. Go to what hell is reserved for those who would try to kill a child. Slash! His head was taken off. Moments later, Kushina ran inside as she looked at the clock. 15 seconds to spare, she said, as she approached her son. See, my dear one, mommy made it back just like she promised. As Naruto looked up to her with a big smile on his face. Mom, you're back. Can we open present now? He asked. Of course, dear. Anything for you, she said. Time skip. Naruto was standing in front of a mirror. The body armor was a bit snug, but he liked how it looked. You look so handsome, Naruto-kun, said Kushina. As he hesitated. Mom, is it okay to be scared? He asked. Of course it is, she said as she hugged him. I have felt fear many times. You? He said, shocked. Of course, being shinobi doesn't mean we stop being human. Bravery doesn't mean lack of fear. It's being able to go through that fear and still carry on. Always do what is right, even if you are afraid. If you do that, I'll always be proud of you, she said. I want you to be proud of me, Mom, he says. He hugged her leg. I have never been anything else, she said as she cuffed his whisker cheek. She then got up for his cloak as she helped him put it on. Mom, if I wear this, everyone's gonna notice me, he said as he checked himself out in the mirror. You always say a good ninja need to blend in everywhere. Won't this make me stand out? She nodded, pleased that he had taken that lesson to heart. Most boys his age were eager to stand out. Naruto wanted people to, well, respect him through his actions. He didn't care about people noticing him for how he looked. In this village, Naruto-kun, there's no avoiding that. When you begin your shinobi career and travel to other places, you can try and become invisible. But in Konoha, everyone that looks at you will know who you are. She then turned serious as Naruto wondered what was going on. Did he do something wrong? Listen to me very carefully, Naruto-kun, she said. As he nodded, people are going to look at you, Naruto, and some of them are going to hate you. Don't ever wonder if it's your fault they look at you with hate. Those people are blind and will never see the truth, no matter how much time you show it to them. But for everyone else, she placed a finger on his chest. Show them what is in here. And here, she says, she touched his forehead. Show all of them that you're Namikaze Naruto. You are your father's son, and you are my son. In you is the best of the Namikaze in the Uzumaki clans. In you, my son, is a great man and a great leader. Someday you will be clan head, and I have no doubt the greatest of all Hokage. As she closed her eyes, trying not to cry, oh Minato, if you could just see him now, you would be so proud. But she couldn't hold in the tears. Mom, why are you crying? Naruto said. As she wiped her tears, I'm crying because the world is unfair. Naruto, I want you to promise me something. Anything, Mom. Promise me, no matter what happened in your life, how much you may be hated, no matter how many terrible secrets you may learn, you will never forget who you are. I swear to you with all my life, I will never forget who I am or where I come from, he said. That's my promise of a lifetime. And you never go back on your word because that's your ninja way. She smiled at her son. Just like yours, he said, as she gave him a kiss on the cheek. Well, let's go. Your first day at the academy after all. You can't be too late. Time skip. Are you alright, Hinata-san? Asked Kurenai, as she looked at the girl with sympathy. I'm fine. Please just call me Hinata. A short while ago, her father had told her how disappointed he was in her, and she was not worthy of becoming his successor. Since her mother died 2 years ago, her father has grown increasingly distant and critical. His harsh words hurt her a lot, and made her rather self-loathing. Maybe father is right. Maybe I'm not strong enough, she thought to herself. Hey, Hinata-chan. She heard his voice as she turned, as she saw Naruto with his mother and how he was dressed. Oh, hello Naruto-kun, she said. You look very handsome this morning. As she started to poke her fingers together. Oh, thanks, Naruto said. You look as cute as you always do. Hearing that, she immediately became darker, as Kurenai offered a formal bow to the woman who was the head of Namikaze clan. I am Yuri Kurenai, and I am most honored to meet you, Kushina-san. I thank you for allowing Hinata and I to accompany you and your son. Please, call me Kushina, and you're very welcome. Hinata is a dear child and I welcome one more set of eyes to watch out for trouble. As two Envoy operatives landed about 10 feet away from them, as one of them approached, Kushina. Kushina-san, I am Captain Tensou, and I am in charge of the two-man Envoy squad that will escort your son to the academy and back again. Thank you, Captain. With Kakashi out of the village, I trust that you will ensure my son's safety. Kakashi think highly of you and I trust his opinion. If he trusts you, then I will as well. Thank you, Kushina-san, he said, as him and his partner disappear. As Kushina turned to the two children. You guys ready to go? Yeah. Come on, Hinata, said Naruto, as he grabbed her arm. As he led the way, it was his habit, as she simply blushed and followed him. Though they were only friends, she pretended like he was her boyfriend, and they were strolling hand to hand. As they went down the street, as his mother was right, everyone knew who he was. And, especially, to what he was wearing, everyone would know who he was, even if they did not, or not see him before. Some of them scowled or looked angry, but no one dared to approach them or say anything, as they were given a large space, as people knew about Kushina, and if they might try anything, they would be silenced instantly. But some of them cheered and smiled towards Naruto, as these were the people who saw Naruto as Minato's son and not the Kyuubi. To them, he was a hero, as this gave Kushina some hope that things would get better. Well, actually, they had gotten better. There had been no attacks for a year and a half, even on the last anniversary. She didn't know if that was making people become more understanding, or did she finally kill so much idiots that they were out of them. But only time will tell, she supposed. Time skip. So, what you up to, forehead girl? Asked Ino. What do you mean, Ino Pig, said Sakura. I know you're planning to sit in your Sasuke-kun, but go ahead and give it up. No one is getting your Sasuke but me. Sasuke-kun is going to fall in love with me, Ino Pig. He and I share one soul. It's destiny. Let me tell you something. Ino stopped as she noticed a small group entering the academy grounds. She noticed one person in particular, the blonde boy who was walking with a Hyuga. Hello, Ino Pig. Sakura clapped right in front of her face. What's wrong with you? Hey, Sakura. Who's that? I don't know. Back to Sasuke, as a girl suddenly squealed in the class. It's him. Who? Said Ino as she looked towards the girl. It's the fourth Hokage's son. Meanwhile, upon reaching the academy, they stopped, as Kushina saw the kids had 5 minutes. Did you bring everything? She asked Naruto. Yes, Mom, said Naruto. Do you have your lunch? She asked him. Do you have your kunais and shurikens? Yes. And they're all sharpened. I see you have your sword, she said, as he worked on his back like she did. Is that sharp as well? Well, it's as sharp as I can get it, but it's just a regular old sword. Now, if I had a katana, no, she said. You have your radio communicator, of course. And it's preset to the emergency frequency. If anything happened, just hit the send button, and I'll be here in less than 2 minutes. I know, Mom, he said. He loved her, but she was treating him like a little kid. Now, if anyone attacked you for any reason, even if it's an instructor or anyone in envoy uniform, I hit the communicator and fight with my sword, he said. And when the sword is drawn, she asked. When the sword is drawn, it's ready to take blood. For, when the sword is drawn, safety only come with the death of your foe. She nodded. That was the correct answer. She did not expect anything less, as she racked her brain to think that anything would be left. Oh, Naruto-kun, did you put on clean underwear this morning? Hinata started to giggle. Mom, please, said Naruto. Meanwhile, the fourth Hokage's son? I didn't even know that he was going to be in our class. Delona, are you sure? Asked Ino as she looked towards the girl, who said that it was the fourth Hokage's son. Delona rolled her eyes. Look at him, he's practically a younger version of the fourth Hokage. Plus, if that's not enough, look who he's talking to. Right here, Kunoichi with a sword and a whirlpool headband. Ino's jaw dropped. Of course, she was a queen of gossip and knew almost about everyone. So of course she knew about Namikaze Kushina. I can't believe that's really her. The red Sakura slapped a hand over her mouth. Are you crazy? Shh. You know the stories. If you call her that and if she hear, she'll kill you. No, said Delona. The rumor is if you say her name 3 times in a darkened room, that will happen. Hey, I heard if she catch you after dark, she'll cut your head off and bring you home with her, another girl said. Well, I heard if you do it before you get married, she'll cut your head off. Do what? Sakura asked. Ino ripped Sakura hand off her mouth. Enough! As she screamed at Sakura and the other girl. What's wrong with you? You gave Kunoichi a bad name. She's just a powerful ninja. I swear you're all just a bunch of chickens. How are you going to be ninjas if you're scared of a bunch of wild stories? Oh really? Said Sakura. Well, if you're so brave, go and say something to her. I would, but I don't have anything to say, said Ino. Sure, Ino chicken. Sure, said Sakura. As a couple of the other girls started to make clucking sounds. As Ino eyes narrow in frustration. Fine, she said. I'll show you what a real Kunoichi is, she said. Maybe I can make a good impression on him as well, she said, as she made her way. Meanwhile, Naruto-kun, said Hinata. As she was looking at the academy and other children, it made her nervous. Yes, Hinata, said Naruto. As she wished that she was more like him. He didn't seem to have any weaknesses. I'm scared, she said. And I know that I shouldn't be, but I am, she said. It's okay, Hinata. I'm a little scared as well, he said. What? You? She said, surprised as he looked at him. Yeah, me. But it's alright, even though we're shinobi, we're still human as well. Being brave is about overcoming your fear and doing what you have to. But what if you're not strong enough to overcome the fear? Well, Naruto said as he took her hand. The both of them, I believe in you, and I'm sure you have all the courage to overcome any fear. Those were the kindest words she has heard since her mother had passed, and they meant so much to her. Thank you, she said. Hello, said a voice. As they all turned to look at a young, blonde-haired girl in a dress. Hello, said Kushina. As the girl immediately bowed. I am Ino Yamanaka. This is my first day at the academy. I am hoping to make some new friends, she said. Am I mistaken in believing that you're Kushina Namikaze, and that this is your very handsome son? As Kushina gave the girl a nod, she didn't miss the way this girl was eyeing her son, or the way Hinata was looking rather even more nervous. Well, I want him to interact with his peers. He was bound to meet a girl besides Hinata sometime, but I didn't expect the first one to be quite so friendly, she thought. Yes, I am Kushina. This is my son Naruto, Hinata Hayuka, and Ui Kurenai. I am pleased to meet you, Ino. As she bowed to Kushina, I am greatly honored to meet you, Kushina-san. As she turned her full attention, I am also very happy to meet you, Naruto-kun, she said. Huh, very friendly, Kushina said. As Hinata stood there, she pressed her fingers together. Kun? She just met him and she's already calling him Naruto-kun. As Naruto gave her a slight bow, he wasn't sure what to make of her, but he didn't want to offend anyone on his first day. I am very happy to meet you as well, Ino. Oh please, she said, call me Ino-chan. As she gave Hinata a quick glance. And is this your friend? Yeah, Hinata is my very best friend, said Naruto. As Ino turned her full attention on Hinata. She was still smiling, but this was not the smile that she gave Kushina or Naruto a minute ago. This one had a predatory look in it. Oh Hinata, I hope we can be friends as well. It is so sweet that Naruto can think of you as his best friend. Most boys aren't comfortable having girls as just friends. It's nice that Naruto see you that way. Well, I have to get to class. I'll see you inside. As she reached out and touched his arm. Bye, Naruto-kun, she said. As Hinata looked down, in about half a minute, that girl had managed to make her feel ugly and plain. She obviously wasn't someone Naruto-kun would choose to be with. Weird, said Naruto. Without a thought, he grabbed Hinata's hand and started to lead her to the academy entrance. Come on, Hinata, we don't want to be late. He was looking at the academy as he missed a look of relief on Hinata's face. As Kushina blinked as she watched the two of him go off, with all of the things that she had to teach her son on. Ninjutsu, taijutsu, everything. She hadn't taught him about girls and how to deal with them. As she couldn't believe she forgot something so vital. Great, I've sent him into battle, completely unharmed. Well, I'll start explaining about girls tonight to him. Meanwhile, back in the class, wow, you really talked to her, Ino, Delona said. So what did she say? Forget her. What did the fourth Hokage-san say, another girl asked. Oh, you mean Naruto-kun? Naruto-kun? Delona said. You actually called him that? As Delona screamed in excitement. I sure did. Let's get to class. I'll tell you all about talking to Naruto-kun in there. Hey Inoue, don't think I didn't see what you did. You were flirting with him. How dare you do that to Sasuke-kun? Asked Sakura. Sasuke who? Said Ino as she walked off, with a smirk on her face. Moments later, Naruto and Hinata step in the classroom together. Most of the children are already seated. Many of them seemed to know each other, and there was low chatter as Naruto looked at the seats, trying to find a couple opening up next to each other. As a voice then spoke, "Who are you supposed to be?" "Excuse me," said Naruto as he looked over to a boy with black hair and dark eyes. "What's the get-up?" the boy asked. Seeing that Naruto was in a black bodysuit with dark red stripes along the arms and legs. Beneath that, he wore his custom-made body armor. Along his belt were several pouches, and he had a sword strapped to his back. But that wasn't what caught the boy's attention, it was a cloak. He had on a white cloak with flames along the bottom. It was an exact replica of what his father wears Hokage. When he wore it, the resemblance were unmistakable. "I wear it in honor of my father," said Naruto. For him, his father was a subject he could not speak about without, well, strong feelings. "Sure, you're just trying to be a fake," for Hokage. Everyone quickly stopped talking when they felt this strange feeling drop over them. As they all turned towards Sasuke, but that was not the thing the feeling was coming from. It was a blonde kid that was looking at him. As Hinata could feel a killer intent coming off of Naruto. "My name is Naruto Namikaze. My father was Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage." "Oh, so you're him, huh?" said Sasuke as he leaned back in his chair. "My father, should I stay away from you? That you're dangerous." "Your father was right," said Naruto. "What's your name?" "The name is Sasuke Uchiha." "Well, Sasuke, my first impression of you is that you're a jerk." "Come on, Hinata," said Naruto, as he walked away with Hinata. As Sasuke just watched him leave with a smirk on his face. "His mother might be dangerous, but he was nothing special," Sasuke said with a smirk. Ino watched as Naruto passed her. Seeing her, Naruto gave her a nod, as she took that of him, well, being in love with her. "He's so cool," she said. "You're Julian," said a voice next to her. "Shut up, lazy jerk," she said. "Don't disrupt me when I'm thinking about my true love. You and every other girl in this class. I'm almost sorry for Sasuke." "Huh? Sasuke? Oh, I'm so over him," said Ino. Shikamaru slowly lifted up his head. "Barely. Who's your next victim, huh?" "Well, it just so happened to find out that I'm in love. Completely in love with Namikaze, Naruto." As Shikamaru looked up to see the boy, his getup was obviously here to draw attention. Every child in the classroom has been told the same thing about Naruto, well, given who his mom is. Stay away, that was something, but none of them would say why exactly. But many of them thought was because his mother was so scary. "He doesn't look that dangerous," said Shikamaru. "Oh, he is," said Ino. "You can tell just by looking at him." For Ino and the others, that their parents had warned them to stay away from him, that just made him more attractive to them. He was dangerous, and she liked those scars on his cheek. Shikamaru sighed as he put his head back down to take a nap. Meanwhile, Iruka and Mizuki were at the door. They had witnessed the interaction between Naruto and Sasuke. They were going to intervene, but Naruto brought back down his killing intent. "So what do you think?" said Mizuki. Iruka sighed. "I think these are going to be a very interesting 4 years." "He really does look like him, doesn't he?" said Iruka. "Well, on the outside he does. And he certainly doesn't lack confidence," said Mizuki. "We have a Uchiha, Hyuga, and a Namikaze in one class. This has got to be the first time that happened in at least 20 years. Well, at least he's getting along with the Hyuga girl. Hopefully, he gets along with the Uchiha as well. Somehow, I don't think that is going to happen." He looked at his watch. "It's 8. Iruka nodded and made his way, as Mizuki came in as well, as he stood at the head of the class. "Hello, children," he said, making them quiet down. "My name is Iruka Omino, and this is my associate, Mizuki. Minos. You will refer to us as Iruka Sensei and Mizuki Sensei. For the next 4 years, we will be your primary instructor in ninja arts. While you are here in the dojo or the academy, everywhere around here, we will be in charge of you. You will be our responsibility. In the morning, we will concentrate on text and written materials. At these times, I will usually be in charge. In the afternoon, after lunch, you will receive basic exercise in taijutsu and weapon practice. At this time, Mizuki will be in charge of you. And you can also expect to go on several field trips to develop survival skills. Now, to help us get to know each other, I want each of you to stand up and tell us who are you and what you hope to become." One by one, the students did so. "I want to be just like my dad and show everyone that a pleasant, plump person can become a great ninja," Choji said. "I want to prove that a kunoichi can be beautiful and powerful. And I want to win the love of a special someone." As Ino turned and blew Naruto a kiss. As Naruto had no idea what to think of this, as Hinata started to press her fingers together once again. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I want to prove myself worthy of my father's respect and match my brother. I seek to master all jutsus of my clan and eventually breed a new species of Kikai bug. I want to become a great ninja and fight with my dog Akamaru. As her turn was coming up, Hinata felt really nervous until she felt Naruto's hand placed in her hand. Don't worry. You'll be fine, he said. It was amazing how his touch and a few words would set her mind and body at ease. I am Hyuga Hinata. I wish to become a strong leader for my clan and earn my father's respect and the respect of one other person, she said. And with that she sat back down, as she was relieved that she got through that without stuttering. As Naruto stood up, I am Naruto Namikaze. I have only one goal. Well, it's an ambition. I want to be the greatest Hokage that Konoha has ever seen. As most of them didn't really say anything because they knew, well, his father was a Hokage. And he had the Hokage blood in his veins, so probably he can. Well, thank you, Aruka said. That was most informative. You can trust myself and Mizuki to help each and every one of you to achieve your goals. Now, we need to get the idea of your abilities. To begin, can any of you use a jutsu? He didn't expect any of them to raise their hands at this age. Only a genius can mold chakra. But to his surprise, well, this should be interesting as 3 hand rose. Very well, Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Naruto, please come down here. As the 3 boys are soon standing in front of him. Alright, who'd like to go first? Man, this is a drag. Let me go first so I can rest against the Shikamaru. Aruka frowned. You should be well rested when you come here each day. There is no excuse not being ready for a full day when you arrive here. In any case, please show me your jutsu. Shikamaru nodded as he went through hand signs, shadow position technique, as his shadow went towards Aruka and bonded with it. Aruka then started to dance all around, placed his hands on his head, the same thing that Shikamaru was doing. Alright, that's enough, said Aruka, as Shikamaru ended the jutsu. That was very impressive, as Shikamaru simply went back to his seat. What about you, Sasuke? You're next. Can we go outside? He said with a smirk. It's a fire jutsu. After about 5 minutes, all of them were outside. Alright, Sasuke, please demonstrate. Sasuke went through hand sign, as he released a giant fireball from his mouth, as he heard the kids shout and applaud as they watched it. As he calmly turned back to his stunned instructors, both of them were gaping at him. Very impressive, Sasuke, Aruka said. The power of the Uchiha clan, said Mizuki. Top that, fake fort, said Sasuke. Oh, I'll top that, you arrogant little jerk, said Naruto, as his hand was just twitching to just pull out his sword and hurt this guy. As he wanted this to go well, he was seriously pissed off at the moment, and he found it when he was angry. He got this, well, more chakra, which he didn't know really what was it, but it just was more. As he thought of it as red chakra and it felt different from his normal chakra, he could feel it in him now. He went through hand signs. Shadow clone technique, he said, as the entire place was filled with smoke. When everything cleared away, everyone was surrounded by 200 clones. What? Mizuki said, as the entire class was pointing and shouting. Aruka reached and poked the 2 clones that was nearest to him. The clone slapped him on his hand. Hey, what's wrong with you? He said. Aruka blinked as he rubbed his eyes. They were not illusions, they were real. Naruto, how on earth did you do this? What do you mean, Naruto asked. Shadow clone, or high level, Jonin Jutsu. How did you learn it? Well, my mom tried to teach me to learn regular clones, but I was terrible at it. But it turns out I have a lot more chakra than even my mom has. As she realized I have trouble controlling a very small amount of chakra, I actually have an easier time with jutsu that require large amount of chakra. So she had me learn how to make shadow clones. But it's a forbidden jutsu, said Mizuki. How did you get access to it? It's in my family library, said Naruto. Really? Mizuki said. Well, now this has possibilities, he thought. Naruto, just how long did it take you to learn this? Well, about a few hours. It wasn't that too hard. Both teachers' jaw dropped. What? As Aruka was shocked, he learned A-rank jutsu in a few hours. Naruto, you know I truly believe that you just may be Hokage one day, said Aruka, as his students were whispering to what Aruka just said. You mean that Aruka-sensei? Naruto asked. Well, if you can do this, you're already at Jonin level just by doing this jutsu. Well, I'm not sure about your other type of skills, but this jutsu is far advanced, Naruto. I would even mind to give you the graduation test right now, so that you can become a genin right now. What? That loser is stronger than me? What the hell? Why the hell are they talking about him like he's something special? They talk about him the way they talk about brother. I'm a Uchiha, but he can't be better than me. Oh, Naruto-kun, I'm so proud of you. You truly are amazing. I know that you'll become a great Hokage. Hinata thought proudly, but On the back of her mind, she was a bit sad. How would she get through school without him? Oh no, I can't lose Naruto now. I need to make him fall completely in love with me. Doing some mission or something, I can't let him leave the academy, Ino thought. Damn it, this is not good music, he thought. About arguments of giving Naruto the graduation test now. Thanks, Aruka-sensei, Naruto said. But my mom already told me she wanted me to stay in for the full 4 years. She said I need to develop my social skills. Alright, but please tell your mother I am prepared to administer the test at any time. So, do you know any other jutsus? Aruka asked. About a dozen. Huh? Anything interesting? Said Aruka. Well, I can summon, said Naruto. Can you show me? Aruka said. But first, can you dismiss your clones? As Naruto dispelled them before beating his thumb. As he went through hand signs, summoning jutsu, he said. As a toad appeared. A black toad about 5 feet tall, with red spots on it. I know the Hokage could summon frogs. But for you to do that, you have to sign a contract. How were you able to? Oh, Granddad let me, said Naruto. Granddad? Oh, Jiraiya, he was my father's sensei, and he dropped by to see me whenever he was in town. You had one of the Sanyas as sensei? Well, I don't know if you can really call him my sensei. He just showed me a few things I summoned, then he goes off to do research somewhere. Tsunade is even worse. I only get to see her once a year. And she always wants to show me how to do medical ninjutsu. As Aruka and Mizuki was staring at her again. I don't suppose that Orochimaru visit you. Asked Aruka. Oh? Never mind. Alright, that's very impressive, Naruto. Come on guys, let's get back to class, to Aruka. Time skip. Naruto found a table in the cafeteria as him and Hinata were sitting down to eat. What did you bring for lunch, Naruto-kun? Asked Hinata. Naruto gave a very happy smile. It was a real treat. Mom made her very special ramen for me. I wish you'd make it for me every often, but she said it's not very healthy and it stuns my growth. Well, Naruto-kun, if you ate ramen all the time, you probably wouldn't be taller than me, said Hinata. Can I sit here, Naruto-kun? As Naruto and Hinata turned to see Ino, as she was holding her tray. Oh, sure, said Naruto, as she smiled and sat down. She gave Hinata a small frown. Oh, Hinata, are you doing anything later after class? No, Hinata said. Why? Well, I thought I would ask you to go shopping with me. I mean, we could go shopping and get you something to wear that actually shows off your feminine side. Instead of the gender neutral clothes that you have on right now. I mean, the only reason to wear a bulky, beige jacket is if you're jealous by your figure. That is not the reason why you wear it, is it, Hinata-chan? Hinata felt herself want to shrink again. No, she said in a small voice. I mean, if it is, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Some girls are just late bloomers. Naruto blinked. We're all 8 years old. No one has bloomed yet, he said. Well, you have, she said. She reached across the table and touched his forearm. You are so muscular. How did you get so strong? Well, weight training and regular exercise, he said. Can you give me some tips? I would love to see what you can do. Alright, what are you doing this Saturday? Nothing, she said, nothing at all. Would you like to join me and my mom for training? The smile on her face slipped a bit. No, this would be fine, I'll just impress him. And we can have a real date later on. And I'll impress his mom as well. I mean, it's still more than Sasuke ever agreed to. That sounds great, Naruto-kun. I'll be happy to join you. You might want to reconsider that. Their training session can be very extreme, said Hinata. She gave Hinata a smug smile. Have you trained with him before? I don't do all the exercises, but I do about half of them. Well, I'm sure if you can handle half of them, I'll be able to do most of them, said Ino. Hey, Hinata, why don't you come by as well? We can all train together, said Naruto. As a small tiny grin came on Hinata's face. I would love to, Naruto-kun, she said, as she looked over at Ino. Great, I'll see both of you there at 7, said Naruto. Wait, in the morning, asked Ino. Naruto nodded. Be sure to have a big breakfast. So you have the energy because we won't stop until noon. The color started to drain from Ino's face. Your workout lasts for 5 hours? Oh no, they last 10 hours. 5 hours is as long as Hinata can last. Is that a problem, Naruto asked. Her smile looked a bit shaky, but she shook her head. She would try, at least. Hey, Naruto, would you mind if we all join you? As Naruto looked up to see 3 girls smiling at him, he nodded and gave them all a smile. The kids were sure friendly. But why did Hinata look so worried? Time skip. It's not a problem that I invited her, Mom, Naruto asked, as they were heading back from the academy. No, honey, of course not. I want you to make friends. You're welcome to invite whoever you like home, just let me know. As Kushina stopped and picked up 2 petals. Inviting friends over is fine, as she threw the 2 petals over to a tree. As 2 ouch could be heard, as 2 8-year-old girls fall to the ground. Why are you following us? Asked Kushina. Delona looked up in a panic for her life. Please, don't kill us, she said. Kushina shut her eyes and shook her head. I'm not going to hurt you, but do not stop my son. If he wants to see you after school, he will invite you. But if he doesn't, I suggest you leave him be. We weren't stalking him. We just wanted to see where he was going. Delona said. Did he know that? Asked Kushina. No, Delona said. That's stalking. Don't do it again. Now go. The two girls wasted no time running away. Tell me something, Naruto-kun. How many girls had lunch with you today? Asked Kushina. She came back over. Well, not counting Hinata. 7. Huh. It's official then. What is, Naruto asked. You have a fan club. As she pulled a kuna and tossed it at a trash can. The can flipped over and tossed garbage over the 8-year-old girl who was hiding behind it. As the girl screeched, "Go home," said Kushina, as the girl ran off. My son. The heart throb, said Kushina. It's okay. I'll just tell him to leave me alone tomorrow, said Naruto. Naruto-kun? I don't think that would do any good, said Hinata, as all of them were looking at him, including Kurenai. Why not, Naruto asked. Because you're not a person to them, said Kushina as she picked up another pebble. You're ideal. Huh? Naruto said, as she threw the pebble as a girl in a yellow dress fell off a tree. You. Stalking. Bad. Don't. As the girl ran for her life. Now as I was saying, except for Hinata, did any of those girls today really know you? I mean, other than your name, your ambition, and the fact that you're already powerful. Well, no. Yet, they're willing to risk a painful and excruciating death, Kushina yelled. Every girl that has been following my son has to count of 5 before I pull out my sword and start to cut off heads. 1. Screams could be heard as every girls. About 7 of them came out of their hiding spot as they started to run. You're ideal to these girls now, said Kushina. An ideal? They look at you and see the perfect and unattainable. Being with you is like a magical quest. You represent everything they want in a boyfriend, even though they knew their attempt might fail. They're still going to try. So what can I do then, Naruto asked. Well, if you know what to do back then, you might have nipped this in the butt, but I didn't tell you how to handle things, did I? Unfortunately, now that the fan club has formed, you're left with only 2 options. One option would be to ruin the reputation you have now. You could answer every question, be loud and obnoxious, and start to play a lot of pranks, and maybe replace a Hokage cloak with a bright orange jumpsuit. Naruto eyebrow twitched. Mom, don't even joke about that. As Kushina grinned, well, that leaves option 2. Get a girlfriend. What? Hinata thought. What? Naruto said, but I thought I was getting them to leave me alone. That's the goal, Naruto-kun, said Kushina. How does having a girlfriend help with having girls chase after me? He asked. Simple, by having one girlfriend, you ruin the idea that all the other girls had. After all, they want to chase boys who are unattached. If you have a girlfriend, that will take the steam out of most of the fan girls. I don't know, said Naruto. I mean, even if I wanted to, which girl would I pick? Well, son, who do you feel comfortable with, spending time with, walking around hand to hand with? As she glanced where Naruto and Hinata were holding hands. That's just it, Naruto said. I don't feel comfortable with any of them. The only person I feel comfortable with is Hinata. As Naruto didn't really get it. Who? Said Kushina. Hinata, said Naruto. Who? Said Kushina. Hinata, said Naruto. Oh, I can have Hinata be my girlfriend. As he then sighed, I don't think it will work though. Why not, Naruto-kun asked Hinata. Come on, Hinata. Can you see me as a boyfriend, he said. As Hinata hung her head and didn't say anything. As Kushina looked at him. If he doesn't see it, well, there was no point of forcing things. Well, I hope you enjoy being the ideal, said Kushina. Great, said Naruto, as he started to look around wondering if there were any other girls following him. Well, on the bright side, this should be good preparations for you becoming a Hokage. Most of the villagers never met your father, but they love and idolize him. Though, the villagers didn't stalk him. As Naruto sighed as he looked around, wondering if there would be more fangirls chasing after him. But guys, to be any tips right here, if what's next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends and social media platform. And turn on the bell notification to stay tuned for the rest of what is coming away. And I hope you guys do enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.